Hello, everyone. This is Bruce Johnson, the founder of the Epic Real Estate Investors Association and co-host of the Epic Financial Revolution podcast, here along with my co-host, Mr. Logan Krutsch. Hey, Logan.
Hello, Bruce. How's it going?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing really well.
Good. We are right in the middle of going into the holiday season here with Christmas and New Year's right around the corner, and pretty excited to get into our next topic here on our podcast. So before we do that, Logan, what have you been up to?
Oh, so, I'm working over here at the big multifamily building. Since our last podcast, we finally started the electrical rehab, which has been the big kind of, I guess, the elephant in the room, so to speak. And so that's going along great. We have a good crew of guys working. They're probably about halfway done. Hope to have the 2 floors done by the end of today. Then we just have kind of this big main floor here to do going forward. So we're hoping to wrap that up fairly soon. And, that'll be like, that's the big thing. So that's
that is. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, you guys are working on that. What is that, 120-year-old historic house there?
Yeah, probably just about,
Yeah.
Built back in 1906 and, the wiring's never been updated. So we're the people to do it.
So you're getting through replacing the knob and tube wiring that's behind the plaster and lath and bringing it up to date, up to code, right?
Yep, that's correct. Had the inspector in there. He was really happy with what we were doing. Everybody's happy. So perfect.
That's good. All right. That's awesome. Well, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gosh, yeah, I've been busy. We just wrapped up our latest semester of our Epic classes on Tuesday night and taking a couple weeks off here and going to be rolling into our new semester in January.
Mm-hmm.
It's January 14th is going to be our start of our new semester. So you and James are going to be running the Essentials group.
Yes. Yeah. I can't wait. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And the new dad is going to be running the advanced group. I'll be involved with that, as well as Terry and a number of other folks in our group here that are going to be working on advanced cash flow strategies through rental properties and, short-term rentals and even fix and flip stuff. We're getting ready to embark on a huge project this next year on a development for senior housing, and pretty stoked about that. So
yeah, that's going to be really quite something.
Yeah, break some new ground here. So
literally.
So yeah, it's going to be an exciting 2020, so to speak. But I look forward to having your dad on here in the next little while, talking about his plan B and how that's turned into his plan A now, and get our sights focused on the next year, the new year, 2020, and use the old adage, 2020 vision going into the new year. So we'll get Pops on here and hopefully next week.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna love doing it. Maybe he'll love it so much he'll want to come in with us. But really like a real brief thing about his story is basically he worked W-2 up until about 2 months ago, and then had to jump into full-time plan B of real estate. Luckily, we had kind of started working on that about 5 months earlier than the day happened. So, but he'll tell us all about that, and it's a great story.
Absolutely, he's been a career professional. He's an engineer by profession, and was with the company for over 20 years. And they went to their plan B and sold the company.
Yep. Yes, they did.
And as a W-2, you have little to no control over what happens on the top end of the business. So now both you and he are full-time in the real estate and entrepreneurship and all those kind of fun things. So congratulations.
Yep. Thank you. It's a roller coaster for sure.
Yes, it has its days and it has its days. So been riding this roller coaster for a number of years myself, and went full-time in 2014. And there's a lot of pros to doing it, and there's certainly some challenges along the way, but those are the challenges that you like to learn to embrace. So
most of them. Definitely most
of them. Exactly. So, well, Logan, we're going to be we're talking about the 4 currencies today. And, they're super powerful currencies. And, if you want to start out with that, what the first one is, and, we talk more about that as we go through it.
Yeah, so maybe just a little bit about the concept of the 4 currencies first. Four currencies is about saying like basically you have multiple things you can trade and barter with other people. It's not just greenbacks. So the four currencies really comprise of money, relationships, knowledge, and time. So you have these four resources at your disposal that you kind of have to use to navigate through the world. So, the first one we're going to go into today is money, and really kind of what is it? What is money?
Mm-hmm.
How do we get it? How do we use it? How do we use it effectively? And really, what do we do with it? So, kind of jumping right into it here. Like, I guess my definition of money is it's really kind of a medium that we just use to make trading and interacting with each other easier. And so, you provide value for someone, and in return, you're given money, which then you can go and have someone provide value for you, and then you trade that. So it's
Right.
an intermediary between kind of the original barter system.
Right, exactly. It's a way that we can have something to trade back and forth. That's a common tool that we can all use. So yeah,
Right.
money is usually the most obvious one that people think about when they talk about currencies. You mentioned the greenbacks, and working a W-2 and trading your time for dollars is pretty much what we're taught growing up. And go to school, get good grades, go get a good college degree, and go work for a company for the next 40 years of your life in exchange for exchanging your time and your knowledge for money, for compensation. So and it's we live or die by money. I mean, the world is driven by money, and it's just a common denominator amongst amongst people in the world. So it's valuable, has its place. It's the one that most everybody can reference is usually have one of two money problems. One is not enough, or the other is too much.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is definitely a source of many problems.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
and kind of along that same train, like I think a lot of people might value money as maybe the most important of the currencies, and it definitely is one of the most valuable ones. It's definitely a valuable currency, but it's not necessarily like that's not necessarily the end goal is to make a bunch of money. It's to have the results of having money, right?
Right.
Sleeping on a pile of $100 bills might be comfortable the first night, but by the second night, you're going to be kind of sore. So, right, you want to use that to buy a nice comfy bed, maybe one that goes up and down or who knows, but
Right.
right. It's a pitfall that a lot of people get caught up in.
Right. And that's really the only currency that they chase after is the money one. So,
Mm-hmm. Trading all
so
their other currencies just for that.
exactly. So, if you learn how to start using the other three that we're going to be talking about here, money is one that you need to have in the equation, especially with real estate, but it doesn't necessarily have to be yours. So,
Exactly.
money is looking for an opportunity to invest and to get a good return on itself. And people that have money are looking for that return without having to do a lot of work for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty common that you go down to your local financial advisor, and as you're working your W-2, you'd invest in the stocks, bonds, mutual funds, those type of products that you hope and pray that you get a good return at the end of the day, or end of your work career, so you can retire on that and have freedom. And we equate money with freedom,
Mm-hmm.
and it certainly can create freedom for you, but there's other ways to create freedom without using money that are using your own money that come along with being involved in a group, and working on the second currency we're going to talk about, and that's about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Building relationships with people, and it's really important that you know that you build relationships with people, build them on trust and integrity, and people can understand that you are, you know what you're doing. They can trust you with with their money if that's the case, and
Mm-hmm.
they can call on you for advice if they need it, if they're working through a project of their own or looking at doing real estate deals. It's great that we all have each other's cell phone number, that you have a certain expertise in your certain marketplace there, Logan, that if I were looking to invest in Woodstock, which is where you guys are at, I would certainly be ringing your phone and finding out more about what you know about that marketplace. So,
Right.
the value of that relationship is you know, can be can't really place a value on that sometimes. It can be infinitely valuable.
Exactly. And, I think like relationships are maybe the most underrated of the four currencies,
Hmm.
because what a relationship allows you to do is, I guess in one sense, it allows you to leverage your time by using someone else's knowledge, right? These things all play together.
Right.
Um, but basically you can go and I guess find a direction and say like, oh, I want to go do this, but I don't know too much about it. But I have this friend over here who happens to be doing it, right? You can, by
Hmm.
having this relationship, this extremely valuable connection with someone, you can go and then you can gain, most likely they will gain as well. So basically relationships is all about like kind of mutual benefit.
Hmm.
And, um, really like, I think not necessarily the ultimate goal, but um, like the ultimate like form of wealth really may be your relationships, right? The people
Hmm.
you go about and you do things with, the people you spend time with, your friends, your family, and also in this case, especially your business partners, right? Those
Hmm.
are the people you're going through your day to day with, and you can really build some powerful relationships with people, and then also have those relationships just really lift the boats very high.
Right. Right. And it's important that you have relationships with people in the space that you want to get to, you want to go to. I think they forgot who said it, but your net worth is usually determined by the five people that you hang out with the most.
Hmm.
And if you're going to hang out with people that are going to be complainers and whiners and people that are looking for something for nothing, that's pretty much going to be the sum of your existence as well. And if you're looking to hang out with people that are you know forward thinking and are doing the things you want to do and attaining the success that they're seeking, you're going to find your life is going to change tremendously. And that was huge for me, when you
Hmm.
start counting on the people that you're associating with and who you're hanging out with and who you're learning from. Those are tremendous relationships and tremendous probably one of the most valuable currency is that relationship one.
Hmm. It's definitely the one that can bring the most momentum the fastest in terms of what
Hmm.
you want to do, right? You
Right.
get this like amazing team behind you. Like in my situation, I have just an amazing team of people that are
Mhm.
surrounding me and really not only helping me but also just pushing me through this whole experience of doing the multifamily.
Right.
And it's like I'm leaning on them all the time, every day, and it's just like it just makes all the difference, really.
Yeah, it's a game changer because I know within our group, and I even said this at the Christmas party recently, that sometimes people see things in you that you don't see in yourself, and
Hmm.
they see you as a greater, having a greater, higher purpose and value in life and success. Sometimes that inner voice in your own head is saying, "No, you can't do that."
Hmm.
And when you're surrounded by people that are going to encourage you and just be there you know uh, to help propel you forward. I mean, that's such a huge asset. It's such a huge currency, um, to transform your life, to really take it to the next level.
Yeah, and I mean, especially in real estate, right?
Yeah.
Not every day is extremely fun, right? About 30 minutes ago, I was just fixing a toilet mechanism, and I was like, "Oh man, this kind of stinks," but I know I need to do it. So if I'm like, "Oh, I don't do it," and then something happens, and there's water everywhere. Well, when I go and tell that to people around me, they're like, "Oh, was that avoidable?" And I would know that yes, it was avoidable, so I better do it now.
Exactly. So welcome to landlording.
Yep,
It's
definitely.
not always glamorous. Sometimes you got to be out there fixing the toilets, and
Hmm.
um, it's just part of the game. But working in real estate, you're going to deal with the real world out there, and in the real world, things that come up. So yeah,
Yep.
so you guys are learning by doing over there.
Definitely a lot of learning by doing. We'll put it that way.
I just chuckle. I
Hmm.
just chuckle. I've been in this building trades for most of my life, and yeah, there's not too many things that surprise me anymore. But you get the unexpected,
Oh yeah.
and you just have to understand how to roll with it. So yeah, so enjoy those relationships, Logan. You're
Hmm.
and you're working side by side with the trades folks that are on on your property here. Draw from their experience,
Oh yeah.
and hopefully you can learn to leverage those relationships so they can handle those 2 a.m. toilet calls.
Hmm. Definitely.
Right? That's the game plan. So yeah, so that's covering your relationship currency. I mean, it's so key to success, and
Hmm.
having people there that are there to help support you and propel you forward. It's invaluable.
Yeah, I mean, so like another key thing regarding relationships is like there's kind of a skill to like I guess developing relationships with people. Probably
Hmm.
the first level of that skill is you have to have good intentions. You have to be like based in the truth. You
Hmm.
can't give off any like not even give off. You can't be in any form of like deceit or anything like that. Right? Someone has to trust you that hey, you're going to benefit me, uh, so that I can go and I can help you with what you're asking of me. Right? It needs to
Right.
be completely mutual, completely
Right.
honest,
Hmm.
really based in the truth. And in my case, probably about 2 years ago now, um, didn't really have too many connections in the real estate world. I hadn't at that time decided to really jump into it, but I had a few, and so I knew kind of the benefits um, of the trade.
Hmm.
But joining our real estate group, in terms of like putting myself in the space where everyone else is who's doing what I want to do are doing, like that seems like such a no-brainer to in terms of going and developing some relationships who can
Right.
help you along your career path.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as you start to establish new relationships, don't be seeking that relationship just for what you can get out of it. See what you can add to it. When you bring value and resources to an individual, you want to perhaps mirror what they're doing. See what you can do to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Offer to put in some time on a project for them, or what can you do for them that can give them extreme value for your time and your knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Bring those relationships to them that may help them with their business. Look to see how you can add value to other people's lives, and it'll be returned back to you tenfold. It's just the principle. That's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
The law of reciprocity. So yeah, so find the key people you want to hang out with, and get to know them, see what you can do to add value to what they're doing, and help them move their life forward as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna build key relationships as you go forward that are going to be priceless going down the road, and helping you with your goals.
Right. I mean, you never know where, like, you can meet someone even on the street for the most extreme example. You never know, like, how much of an lasting effect that can have on your life, right? Maybe 10 years later, you're best friends or whatever. There's plenty of stories like that out there.
Hmm. Amen. Amen.
Hmm.
So, and sometimes if you're hanging out with the wrong people, go find a new group to hang out with. Get some bigger, higher aspirations for your life, and for the new year, and go find people that are doing what you want to do.
Yep.
That's really the bottom line, and go add value to what they're doing, and they'll be happy to help you along the way.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So kind of moving on here, the third of the four currencies is knowledge. Now
Hmm.
they say knowledge is power. What do you think about that statement, Bruce?
It's absolutely power. I mean, good knowledge is very powerful. Bad knowledge can be quite destructive. Uh,
Hmm.
so so seek out knowledge from people that are doing what you want to do. Learn from them. Take their training. Find out from their mistakes what road bumps they had along the way that can save you those frustrations going forward. And learn from people that are practitioners of what you want to learn. And because knowledge is very super powerful. And I know when we're taking classes and we're watching this stuff online, you may not realize what you're absorbing, but all of a sudden in a conversation a few days later, all of a sudden this starts coming out of you going, holy crap.
Hmm.
I didn't realize that, I knew that. It's like, holy cow. And,
Right. The picture comes together.
it does. And I committed to taking classes, online classes, and committing to a schedule of doing that, pretty diligently for a number of years. And it was like, man, in a few years time, I'm like, I've learned so much. And you
Right.
learn that you don't know everything. And life is about learning. You're never going to learn everything, but to learn the key facts and pieces along the way that are going to help you attain your goals and help your life, become better. Find the right people to learn from.
Yeah, I would say that's a very key point there. And, I guess kind of begs the question, well, how can you tell who is a good person to learn from? Well, you look at their
Ah,
results, maybe. That could be
amen.
one key insight there.
Absolutely. You shall know them by their fruits.
Hmm.
That's kind of a biblical script, biblical reference there, but you shall know them by their fruits. So look and see what their results are, see what they're doing, see what they're accomplishing. Don't just take them at their word, because there's a lot of cheap talk out there, a lot of talkers out there, but look at the results that they're getting in their life. Are they doing what you want to do? Are they getting the results? Can you prove that they're getting results? Um, you know, don't take it at face value. Do your due diligence. Check them out. Make sure that they are, in fact, going in the direction you want to go, and have a track record to prove it.
Hmm. Yeah, and so like another interesting kind of little facet to knowledge is that it's kind of on you to go and obtain it, right?
Hmm.
People can sell you classes. They can even make you sit in a room and answer math problems or whatever.
Hmm.
But it's kind of up to you to be open to it and to absorb it and to really kind of engage your entire life into learning what you want to learn about. There's
Yep.
infinite number of topics out there. This one happens to be pertaining to real estate,
Hmm.
but yeah, like you have to get out there and really like maximize your effort.
Right. Right. You really have to. You have to be in the game. You have to be mentally prepared to take on a learning path, a curriculum. Be committed to doing it, and you'll be amazed what can happen in a relatively short period of time once you commit to that. If
Hmm.
you commit, you know, half an hour a day or 15 minutes a day while you're waking up or working out or whatever, just to be focused on that, and clear your mind of other distractions. Um, that's such a easy thing to fall into in today's world with all the digital distractions out there. That close the other windows, downsize the other windows, get rid of them, and then just focusing on the classes.
Hmm.
Focusing on the training.
Right. And I think once you kind of obtain, like, there's not a set level of knowledge that is necessarily required,
Hmm.
but other people can kind of tell when you know what you're talking about and when you
Right.
don't.
Hmm.
And like whatever that level is, that's kind of when knowledge really becomes a currency, because
Right.
people they have faith in you that, oh, like, I trust that you know what you're talking about. Maybe you can help me out with that.
Hmm.
And, by them kind of asking you for something, well, that starts to build a relationship, and, the rest is kind of history. But knowledge is definitely one of these key currencies that,
Right.
you do leverage and um, you do use in everyday life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's something that you always can add more to. So never stop learning. The school's never out for the professionals. So that's for sure. So yeah, then the fourth currency that we're going to talk about is time. A good old clock ticking on the wall, right?
I'm looking at one
And
right now.
yeah, and it's hard to stop that thing from ticking. we're we're on this planet Earth here. We're all have the same clock that we follow, the 24-hour day, and as you you know learn how to leverage your time and learn how to leverage other people's knowledge and skills to help you do what you want to achieve. You can start leveraging your time and get more done in a 24-hour period or an 8-hour period or whatever your workday looks like.
Right, exactly. And time is the only currency you have that you absolutely have a limited amount of, right? You can always make
Yes.
more money or meet more people or learn more things, but when it
Right.
comes to time, that you only get so much of it, and it
Right.
decreases the longer you're aware of it, which is
Right.
really interesting.
Right. It seems like the older you get, the faster the clock ticks. And it's like, oh my God, I don't want it to be over yet.
Right.
Right. So, maximize your relationships, your knowledge. If you have time that you can put into, a real estate deal, we're talking real estate here. So let's kind of see how this all works together. So, if you have the time to go out and find a deal, and you have the knowledge to know what a good deal is, and people, or the realtor, the attorney, the buyer, the seller, how to put the deal together because of relationships, you can find the money to do that deal.
Mm-hmm.
If you have those relationships with people that have money that are looking for people that know what the heck they're doing. And, almost all the deals I do these days are, using 3 of those 4 currencies, and money is usually not one of them. And, being able to bring other people's money to the table, which is, a full circle effect here. How can I add value to their money and secure their money in the deal? And, using my time, my expertise to be able to give them the value that they're looking for.
Right. And, that's kind of what it's all about right there. And,
Right.
Everyone has a different vision for what they want to use their time for. Most of us eventually want to become the guy who lends his money and then keeps his time, right? Because it's the most important.
Right.
And,
Right.
As we all work towards that, we leverage our other currencies in order to head in that direction.
That's right. That's right. So you can have all 4 of these currencies, but there's kind of an unspoken currency that I just want to touch on real quick, and that's basically having the chutzpah, having the courage to go forward and use these 4 currencies.
Right. Definitely.
And that's really where the community comes into play, and having your relationships, and learning from the same textbook, so to speak, and having that circle of people around you that can encourage you to move forward. I don't know how many people have come in and out of our doors of our group here that they think they have a great deal, and they want to come one time and find that person that has the money, and they're going to talk them into landing on a deal, and it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way.
Definitely does not. Right.
No. And I've had people that come in our doors that are ready to write a check the first time, to invest in a deal. I'm like, whoa, slow down.
That's how mistakes get made.
Yeah, I said, do you understand? What is a good deal? How's your money secure? How are you secure in the deal? There's a learning curve there, and it's kind of strange when people come in the door. And I had a property tour we did a little while back, and I had a gentleman that came in first time. I never met him before, and he had his checkbook, and he's like, okay, who do I make the check out to? I was like, for what? He goes, well, I want to invest in your next deal. I said, yeah, yes, no. Doesn't work that way. So as much as I'd love to be able to deploy your money in one of our projects here, let's get to know each other a bit here, and understand how we put these things together, and how how you're protected in the deal, and what a good deal is, and what the timeline is, and what your rate of return is, and all those kind of things. I'm not here collecting checks just to do more real estate deals. So yeah, I commend them on the courage and trust and all of that. But this is a relationship business. This is a business that requires knowledge, requires time, and yes, in fact, it requires money, but it doesn't need to be yours.
Yep, and you utilize the other 3, you can solve the money problem.
Absolutely.
I won't say easily, but you can solve the money problem.
Yeah, I mean the knowledge. You guys on your multifamily you did there, you have the knowledge of understanding how to talk to the seller of the property about doing seller financing, and how prior to that you would have been going, oh my gosh, we got to go to the bank now and try and figure out how to get a loan for buying this property. And I think 85% of your financing for that deal was seller financing, right?
Yep, it was. I want to say right around 85%. It might be a tiny bit more, but yeah, we closed on this behemoth here with relatively low money down. It was like 13% that we had out of pocket, and actually didn't exactly bring it out of pocket. We transferred it in. We 1031'd that money in out of another property into this one. It's a whole thing, but yeah, the point is we had the knowledge to do it. we had the relationships. We met a lawyer through the group here, and that guy is awesome. And we happened to have the money to kind of get into it. So it was awesome.
You also had built a great relationship with the seller.
Right. That is also true.
They trusted you. They wanted to, they wanted to see you, get this deal. So, you want to tell the story about that at the closing table. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, so I can't believe I forgot about this actually. Wow. It's already so long ago, these 5 months, but, yeah. So like really the relationship started with a phone call, spent about 30 minutes parked outside of the building here actually last year, right around this time. And just talked to him for a little bit, kind of just heard about what their problems were. And then I proceeded to spend the next about 6 months, probably once a month, sometimes maybe even a little bit more, kind of going over there and just talking to them. We kind of use it as an excuse, like, oh, we need to iron out this key issue with the deal here. And we talk about that for a little bit, and it would just turn into kind of me listening to and absorbing their life stories. They had a lot to say on that topic. And so, yeah, over like the 6 months, we really like just kind of hit it off and built maybe the perfect buyer seller relationship. And then at the closing table, we're sitting there, and the guy we bought it from, Rich, he basically like sits back after we sign, sits there for a second, and then like gets up, like kind of walks around the table and just gives me a huge hug. And it's like, wow, like that probably isn't the way most closings will go for the rest of my life. But, it really felt like we'd nailed it on the first one. And really it's all actually about the relationship with those sellers, Rich and Susie. They were fantastic.
That's awesome.
They were extremely happy, right? It was the like totally a win-win-win situation.
Right. And the larger, properties, the larger real estate deals you may be going after, the more the relationships are going to come into play. And building those relationships, because if you're just buying homes off the MLS and not ever seeing the seller except at the closing table, maybe, you may not have that relationship with them. But if you're working on bigger deals, a lot of times the people that have large portfolios of properties or larger properties, they're looking for that relationship for somebody that they can pass the property on to.
Right, because they're not just selling a house; they're selling, all that effort and really all that work that they did to, whether it is create that portfolio or kind of run and manage and like a big multifamily. It's more than just the cash for them. And so they want to really be sure that they're passing their assets off to the right hands.
Right. And somebody's going to use it properly. So,
right.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, that's quite a story. And actually, we're going to be sharing that more on our next property tour coming up the end of the month here. So as we kind of wrap up this podcast, on this session today, you can plug into our group at epicrea.com. That's EPICREIA.com. We have multiple property tours every month, and that's up on our calendar there. As well, we're doing cash flow games a few times a month too in the local area here in the northwest suburbs. So plug into our calendar, plug into our events we have coming up. The cash flow game nights and the property tours are free. We have our next semester coming up here on January 14th with our group, which is going to go on for about 6 months. There to help people build their knowledge, establish relationships, use their time wisely, and find the money that they may need for their real estate deals.
Yep, definitely maybe find the money. There's a couple people in the group, just saying, that are definitely looking to lend. They're looking to lend in the right circumstances.
Right, looking for people that know what they're doing and have those other currencies in place that they can safely invest with. So awesome. So yeah, we're going to invite your dad onto our next podcast here. Looking forward to hearing his story and sharing his knowledge and what he's learned over the last year and a half or so with our group, and how you guys are applying it to your life every day now. Yeah,
I think that'll be a lot of fun, and I'm sure he's gonna enjoy it. So
cool. Well, Logan, it's been fun as always doing the podcast with you. look forward to our next one here in the near future. And my friend, you have yourself a great day. I think you did a great job today, and we will be catching you guys on the next one.
Mm-hmm. Thanks
So,
everybody for listening, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we'll be seeing you again soon. Take care now.